Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Hope you're well. Monday. No, Mondays. There's a story. Mondays. Not a good time. Not a good time. For me, Mondays was a nightmare. As was Sundays. Thinking about going to work. Wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. But now, I'm sober. Every day is a good day. Hello, Leslie. How are you? Are you well? Well into autumn now, aren't we? Dark nights, cold, miserable. And this is one of the times when people will, in my opinion, relapse. That's when not everybody's going to relapse, but relapse can start now. And just turn this light down a bit. I thought it looked bright here. Good evening, Blackstone. Hope you're well. Let's switch it off. Hope everyone's doing well. You fine, Lizzie? Good. Evening, Steve. Blackstone. Good evening. Cook, how are you doing? Yeah, I was going to just talk earlier about how quickly we've descended into autumn, really, and dark nights, that sort of thing. And it's so quick to transition from summer to winter. And winter time was when I had problems with relapse. I certainly fear of missing out. Hello, Jess. Nice to see you. And hope you're well in Australia. I'm assuming it's Australia. And when you get these long winter nights, especially if you're on your own, it can be very tempting to go to the boozer. Or even just pick up a pint and think, well, I'm going to go to the pub. And stay there. Because it's raining, cold. Alex, how are you doing? There's these beautiful autumn colours, walks in the woods. Yeah, you've got to do something else, haven't you? You've got to take your mind off the booze. I found winter time particularly a problem because it can get dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, can't it? Hello, Richard, how are you? So you've got to be very mindful of it then. I don't know if you saw that Ricky Hatton interview, well, before he died, obviously, when he was on about how he used to drink and just take drugs to keep him awake to drink more. And even when he was off the drink, he mentioned this devil on his shoulder, which we've all heard before, but just ready to take you back into full-blown alcoholism. Hello, Catherine. Hope you're well. Hiya, Dan. Hope everyone's okay. Monday night is generally quite a busy night because people have had a day of struggle at work, haven't they? Hi, Anne. Massive support of Anne's. Thanks very much for all you do, Anne. And, we slip into autumn. It's a terrible time for a lot of people. People get very lonely in the winter times. I mean, that's why they say check your neighbours, isn't it? Loneliness is a big problem for a lot of people, not just when you get older, but when you drink and you tend to go back to the drink, it's a terrible time. Sean, I tend to get paranoid that something bad is going to happen and fixating on the things. I don't know if you can, I can, yeah. I have an experience to share. I always felt regret this and have an experience to share. For me, it was falling off the balcony. Wow. I used to feel very much impending doom and down. And that was my problem. So Sean mentions I tend to get paranoid that something bad is going to happen. I think a lot of us have had that. Evening, Samara, how are you doing? Dylan and I lost 3 or 4 people in my life per binge. Wow. It's incredible, isn't it? Sean, it's a result of alcohol, man. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's paranoia because of alcohol. Definitely. Because I did a video at night that's called panic attacks caused by alcohol. I don't know if anybody else has had panic attacks. Obviously, you, Sean, had paranoia. Blackstone, quite interesting documentary out on Netflix about Charlie Sheen and his substance madness. Must be a nightmare to stay sober as a multi-millionaire. God, yeah. Horrendous. Cook, Stephen, the other day you mentioned that you used to get anxiety or had terrible anxiety, but not when I was sober. Charlie, that evening, Steve and for recovery team. Hi, Charlie. Tom, Ashton, evening all. Cook, going to be barbers. Has that changed now? Yeah. I used to worry about sitting in a barber's chair. I used to worry about everything, to be fair. But when I got sober over a number of times I did, and particularly now, I've got no problems doing anything. Nothing phases me now. But everything used to phase me when I was drinking, especially during the withdrawal and recovery time, because you wake up in this horrendous state of anxiety, panic, as Sean mentioned there, paranoid that something's going to happen, the impending doom, and the fact that you just don't feel well overall, do you? Paul, how are you doing, Paul? Heavy alcohol use, low serotonin levels in the brain causing the symptoms of anxiety and depression. Yeah, well said, Paul. It's more on the scientific side, but it's very true. Because it is a depressant drug, isn't it? That's the problem, isn't it? We don't know. I don't know enough about it. I'm learning all the time from this channel, to be fair. Andrew Thornton, I binge drink and get blackout drunk. My anxiety stems from a friend telling me once, nothing would surprise me what you do and drunk. True. I remember blacking out. I don't remember blacking out. I remember waking up in Epping Forest a few times. It wasn't regular, but I think it was a combination of tiredness and alcohol and stress. Stress at home, not work. Dan, I was scared of opening letters, knocks on the door. Yeah, and me. Why did I not? What was that? Why was I worried about who was going to be at the door? Why was I worried about getting a letter? I'd done nothing wrong. I saw this weird thought that I was going to be taken away. By who? For doing nothing. And the impending doom. Everything was a problem. Everything. I couldn't get happy. I was never happy when I was drinking. Maybe the first few early days between sort of 16 and 25. After, well, maybe 15 and 35. After that, nothing was any good to me, drink-wise. I had terrible panic attacks. I think it's when you feel trapped. At the hairdressers in the metro on the queue. Yeah, the queues as well. Also going into shops. You know, that was a problem, wasn't it? For me, anyway, going to shops, I used to panic. I had to go out on the underground trains. I felt trapped on the underground train. I had to get off the station. I used to walk along near the wall, not the platform side, because I fell over. Crazy. Teddy Mac taken away by the old work colleagues. Yeah, most of mine would have been taken away long before me. The guys I met in the 80s in London. Jeez. Neil, hi Neil, hope you are. Yeah, so Leslie there, so I had terrible panic attacks, I think, it's when you feel trapped. Definitely. I couldn't do normal things. I couldn't drive on a straight road. It's crackers. Paul, Charlton, Leslie, I had one at the Newcastle match the other day from about thousands of people. Wow, still going, Paul. It's horrendous, isn't it? And I was terrified of big curbs and crossing roads. And me crossing, because I thought I was going to fall off the curb. And crossing roads, even though it was clear, I think, I'm going to collapse in the middle of the road. It's very, very mind-altering, this, isn't it? Good, Neil. That does you well. Dan, that, oh shit, something bad is going to happen. Impending doom. This is the best way of putting it, isn't it? Who remembers Woolworths? I think they all banned me before the end of stealing penny sweets. I remember Woolworths well. It's so bizarre, isn't it? When it comes on, when the brain thinks you're trapped, but you're not in reality. Yeah, you don't feel in reality, do you? You feel completely detached. Catherine, I used to panic on packed buses. Exactly. Lifts, heights. Hello, Samantha, how are you? Nice to see you again. Hope you're well. I used to be frightened of heights, and I went up the Eiffel Tower and Mum proposed to my now fiance. And I've also been on a big wheel. I couldn't even get on a big step. I'm in a big wheel. But if you pushed a bit, you'll get on it. Andrew Log, I Steve, first time live. Nice to see you, Adrian. I hope it's Andrew. Welcome, Adrian. Nice to see you on here. John Doe, all right, Steve. Hello, everyone. My internet is proper playing up tonight. Strange, this was earlier a little bit as well. It's supposed to be quite stormy, isn't it? Sean, pleased to hear people can relate. Obviously, not pleased you all went through. It was a terrible time, but a lot of us have come out the other side, and we're still here, and we're doing well. And every day is a good day when you've been close to death, as a few of us have been here. But you can fight back. Simona, panic attacks used to stop me, and my tracks. I used distraction techniques like counting shop windows, bricks, and the wall. I did that as well. If I was in town, you have to kickstart your mind into different places. It's difficult though. I used to pretend I was on the phone. I used to ring 150 or the speaking clock in those days as well, you know, just to try and distract my mind. It's bizarre how it actually took over me. I think if you send out bad vibes, it will come back to you. True, I wouldn't send out anything. I just felt pretty awful all the time. The impending doom, I used to feel dizzy, and I used to feel as if something was going to happen to me. And I used to think I'm going to throw myself under the train in the underground. I'm going to throw myself under a bus. I never did, obviously. Leslie John, I used to these props when I first came out of hospital after my transplant, which was a stick. I told myself I could lean on it for support, and other people would see it and not think, "Oh, weird." Yeah, I know you're saying you sort of take your mind of it. Samantha, that's a nice colour on you. Thank you. Dark blue, say navy blue. Suits blondes, apparently. Blondish. Thanks, Samantha. Appreciate that. I'm glad you noticed these things. That's pretty good of you. Tell you, Mark, if you go on the bus and think, why is everyone looking at me? They probably will be looking at you like, what's the guy's problem? I think we do get nervous when the paranoia sets in. Now I don't give a toss what I do. But you see, when you're sober, you're strong. When you're in active addiction, you become very vulnerable and very weak. That's the issue, isn't it? Teddy well said, Jason. The worst was going into the countryside with no mobile phone signal. Anything where you feel out of control is the problem, isn't it? Anything where you feel you're going to be maybe alone or trapped, as Leslie mentioned there. Samara, once the panic attacks have subsided, you think, what was all that about when you feel normal again? 1 minute you're petrified, next minute you're okay. It is bizarre. And one thing I found, I remember the day I first experienced a panic attack was on the underground. It was around the time when Riverdance were doing their thing, and I had this song on it was like a little iPod plastic thing. I kept playing it over and over again, and it came over me in a wave. I need to get off this train. It never happened before. There was no build up to it. I felt terrible. And I had to take some leave, like half days annual leave that day. I felt so ill with it. And nothing had really changed in the drinking. But I must have just got to a point where I couldn't take any more, mentally or physically, to be fair. Done, I'm done with booze this time. Ruined my birthday and fell around blacked out. No, it's no good, is it? Miss college again. Miss college today. It's no good, is it? To any of us, alcohol. Destroys your life. Hope you get some value from these lives. If you do, please subscribe to the channel, and also hit the super chats if you want to donate something, and the buy me a coffee links at the top. The more people that support the channel, the more I can do with the channel, and the bigger we can be, the more people we can help. I hope that makes sense. Yes, that's true. Yeah, Samantha's writing a lot of things. I got caught in Woolworths twice back in the day when I was at school. Cook, how many months of sobriety before most of that anxiety goes away in your experience? Mine disappeared pretty quickly, to be fair, the anxiety. 6 months maximum, to be honest. Everyone's different. Some people like Paul, who's sober, still get anxiety. So it's an individual thing. You can't really measure it by weeks or months. It's down to the individual. But I went from very, very extremely nervous and vulnerable to being super confident. And the same again when I started to drink. The confidence just went automatically, As you said, I wonder if he chose the colour himself, Samantha. Maybe not. Dan, they should print on the side of cans of bottles excessive use will cause fear and panic. Well, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm not sure putting warnings on bottles and cans will make any difference. Samantha, can you share the bar experience step? Yeah, this is a strange one. I'd been drinking terribly badly for about 5 years. I got to the point where I could hardly walk. There's a pub called The County in Gosford, and this is the day before I actually rang 999 in October 2019. The day before, feeling very weak, I thought, I've got to go to the pub. I had to get out of the flat sometimes, and I went to get in this pub. The taxi driver helped me out of the taxi. I could walk a little bit towards the pub, and there's a step there in this pub called The County. It's about, if you know Gosford or Northumberland, Newcastle, you know where it is. About a foot high, less than that. And I couldn't get up the step. One step. And that was the time I had to get somebody to help me in. And I couldn't get to the bar. Somebody had to sit me down around the corner. And I used to call that Stephen's Step. If I died, I would call it Stephen's Step. Now, that was the night before I ran hospital. And I thought, I've finished with this now. I can't actually physically do anything. And the step still, I'll take a photograph and post it. Because whenever I pass it, it always reminds me of how ill I was. There'll always be something in your mind that you can remember. And one step turned me completely around, as in got to the hospital. And I knew I was, virtually dead by that time. If I'd kept on drinking, I would have been gone. So thanks to the step, I suppose, in a way, Samantha. But it was that one thing I just couldn't physically get up a step. I'd been trying so hard, push myself to try and keep drinking to feel well again. It just beat me in the end. and I was defeated by a step. Sounds crazy now, but that's what happened to me now. Awful. John, anxiety can be defeated. It can if you get sober, John, 100%. Tell you if they print on every bottle and can of alcohol, if you think as if you're really a prick, would that help? No. People would probably drink more. Then I always feel a wave come over me after drinking. If terror comes and goes, yeah, it is like that. It just flows over you, doesn't it? This panic. Vox Nanti. Yeah, anxiety and panic was defeated. I'll watch the rest of the stream when I get home. Have a good one. Cheers, Vox. Tell you about, but then back in the day when they printed on Yorkie bars only for men, did that stop women? Of course it didn't. If you get some value from these lives, then please hit the super chat or the buy me a coffee link, because the more people that help and support the channel, the more I will do with the channel, the more I can do, the more time I'll have, if that makes sense. And it is growing fast, and we're a lot of subscribers, a lot of interesting people here. A lot of people need help as well. And if we can get people back to full health, we've won, haven't we? And this will expand rapidly over the winter. It's all about timing with this. And this is a bad time for people like us, especially if you haven't got much interest. You've got to find something else to do. And you've got to be positive about your life again. And don't sink into depression. That's the thing. You've got to be very, very positive. And that's the only way you're going to defeat this, by being positive, because your mind will rule your body, if that makes sense. It's all about positivity, good nutrition, and a good mindset. But it doesn't take a day, it'll take months to do that, even years, but you'll get there if you push yourself. And you've got to have this mantra also in your head: if I drink again, it's going to harm me. If I get off the booze, I'm going to feel better. That's what you got to do. It's quite a simple thing on paper. One small step for man, one giant leap for Stephen. Yeah, that's good. I like that. But it's still quite a big step. We drove past the other day. It's a bastard step. Men's sonnet in corpo son, well, whatever that means. It sounds pretty impressive to me. It's good. So, and driver bought coffee. That's great. And thanks very much, Anne. Massive support of the channel, and thank you so much for buying that coffee. Every support makes a big difference. As I said earlier, the more people that support us, the more we can do, and that's the way it works. I also got an ebook out for anyone who wants to have a look at that. It's there, but $25.99 the ebook, cheap as chips. Healthy mind, healthy body, Steve. 100%, Richard. Birdie, anybody had acupuncture? I did try it once, yeah. I did try it. I'm not sure if it did anything. Little tiny needles that flick them, don't they? Tell you what, it means Yorkie bars are man's food, only in Latin. Yeah, so I did try the acupuncture. I don't know if anybody else has tried acupuncture. I've got a friend actually who I did a bit of mentoring with, who I met him and his wife on a Jet 2 flight years ago when I was having a few holidays when I was on my own. And I went to see him a couple of times. He actually got off it with hypnosis, but he went straight back on it again. And so I'm helping him again now. This is the problem. A lot of people can stop. It's actually keeping that going, because the longer you're off it, the better you'll feel, and the less likely you are to relapse, especially if you've got some support. And you'll feel better, and you'll be more positive in your mind, and your body will follow on from that. So you've got to be full on with this. I'm going to take this well. I take it seriously anyway, but this channel needs to be taken more seriously by a lot of people. I don't mean here, I meant in general, even by doctors, because I did do some work with the alcohol care team, and they don't like all this alternative stuff. The medics, the NHS, they call themselves the professionals. Fair enough, they are professionals, but I still don't think they know how you and I feel. Like, we've got more of a broad-based knowledge of what goes on with alcohol than any medic will, unless they've been in the same position themselves. That's why it's got to be taken more seriously. There's too many people dying. I went to the liver specialist outpatients 2 weeks ago. 4 p.m. Normally it's pretty quiet. There's 4 clinics run there. I think there's 2 or 3 consultants in each one. They've got A, B, C, and D. By 4 o'clock in the past, because I've only got twice a year, it's been quite quiet. It's packed 2 weeks ago. The more and more people are having problems with alcohol, and the more and more we can help, the better. And I was speaking to a guy today from Australia. He didn't know anything about this anxiety or these seizures at all. I mean, he's a youngish guy, and it's not widely available. The information we have here is not widely available, and we're not told about the dangers. Are you? People just assume you'll know that you may have a seizure when you drink too much and you stop. It's nonsense because we don't know. We don't. You should never assume anything. So basically, about these panic attacks, acupuncture to placebo. Okay, I didn't realize that. The panic attacks, when they started, as I said, they came suddenly. There was no build-up. One day I was fine on the underground. Next minute I couldn't travel on the underground. And in a matter of weeks, I was having to get a bus, 2 buses to get to work. I was leaving much earlier than I would have done. So it impacted my time as well. Just because I couldn't face being on the underground. I couldn't fly anymore. I couldn't drive on straight roads anymore. And it's just incredibly bad. Teddy Mark, Stephen, your public speaking has improved by doing these videos. Okay, thanks, Mark, Teddy. Appreciate that. I hope I can slow down a little bit. My partner keeps saying to slow down and speak more clearly. It's hard sometimes when you get excited. I'll leave that to your imagination. Bertie Bassett, don't ever think anti-abuse is a placebo. Even if you put aftershave on anti-abuse, you will know you're anti-abuse. I've never tried anti-abuse. The only thing I did was have that diazepam. I think it was 4 times. No other medication at all. None at all. I don't know where beef and chicken is these days. She popped in last night a little bit, didn't she? Or the night before. So anybody else got any major stories about panic attacks before we move on? Because to me, they were very debilitating, even disabling in a way, because it took so much time out of my day to navigate what was going to happen. Because when you've had one of these panic attacks, you assume you're going to get another one very quickly. And you could never time it. It just came suddenly. There's no build-up to a panic attack with me. And then after that, I felt the more and more waves of them. Became more regular, going to different shops, feeling paranoid, driving, like I say, going to the airport. I had to plan everything around if I needed to do anything socially. I'd avoid social events. And as Paul said earlier, that even if I had a panic attack at a football match, it's even worse in a crowd. And imagine central London. There's always a crowd, isn't there? Where I was. It wasn't good. Ollie, the feeling of anxiety comes from the part of the brain called the amygdala. It's the oldest and most primitive part for fight, responsible for fight or flight, right? If you think of that as stupid. Yeah, I understand, Ollie. This fight or flight mode, yeah. Bertie's still here, yeah, he is. I find I'm more relaxed at night time. During the day, the anxiety panic is worse. Yes, Bertie, I maybe agree with that when you're not out and about. I think the anxiety used to disappear a little bit when I was indoors or whenever I drink. See, how much diazepam did they prescribe you? It's a long time since I've had diazepam. It was 2006 or nearly 20 years. And I think they give me, I can't remember the dosage, but it's sort of like a 5 or 7 day amount. You take a certain amount day 1 and then lower the dosage up to day 7, and you'd feel good. I felt bright as a button. I couldn't get it again in 2014. Sometimes placebos work. Sometimes the thought of getting medication or a cure can trick the brain into a sense of well-being and alter the body's metabolism. Right? Well said, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if placebos work. I haven't been on a lot of medication in my time, to be fair. Tell you what, I both fight and flight mode. I try to fight. I start losing a run. Fair enough. It's all to do with the brain. It's a lot to do with the brain, and that side of things I don't think is taken seriously by the medics. To be fair, the anxiety, the mental health side. Richard Bruce, for the whole day, my room was full of panic. All my drums were looking at me menacingly. Bizarre, isn't it? That would affect your mind, and you can never switch off properly. When you can't actually relax without alcohol. And when you can relax with alcohol, you really have won the battle, in my view. Because if you can't relax, you can never rest. If you can't rest properly, you won't sleep properly. And if you don't sleep properly, you'll feel rough all the time. And then you'll probably eat the wrong things because you're so tired. and nothing's going to go your way. That's the problem, isn't it? That's a good point. The whole day my room was full of panic. It gets to you, doesn't it? And then your brain starts to run down, your body starts to run down, you feel horrendous. If you'd like to support the channel, and please do. Either hit the sort of chat button or the buy me coffee links at the top there, 'cause it's not monetized. This, so as I said before, the more people who subscribe to the channel and the more people who support the channel, then the more I can do with the channel. And it's proving very useful for a lot of people. I'm getting some good feedback. You're all getting good feedback as well, by the way, because people often say it's a good group. Some people watch and never comment, which is fair enough. Some people don't want to get involved, but at least it's informative. It can be quite dynamic, and it's very useful. NP, for those struggling, may you get through. Thanks, NP. Hope you're well. You're right, though. You can get through. We're 60 people now, which is pretty impressive for Monday Eve, any night, really. So, my Richard, that is bordering on psychosis and paranoia. Very frightening. Yeah, the paranoia was horrendous. I think people watching me all the time. What my dad used to say, why would anybody want to watch you? And he's right. Everyone's got their own problems to deal with. Everyone's got their own lives to deal with. Everyone's got their own day-to-day living. And that can be hard enough as it is. A lot of things are psychological. I totally agree, but mine was. 90% of mine was psychological. And I used to think I'd get out of it. It's a very vicious cycle. Down the brain is very complex. It's amazing what it does to you when you don't give it what it wants. Well, it's totally, yeah. Especially when you don't get the alcohol it needs or craves. It just shuts down, doesn't it? Dylan, I always have spare Librium. Where'd you get it from? Not that I want any, but that's one because I couldn't get any diazepam in 10 years ago, 11 years ago, for nothing, you know. Richard said, man, I follow a shrink now, and he's got me on neuroleptics. Don't know what they are, but they sound as if they can do a good job. But it was fear, comparing and despairing, fear of missing out, all linked to alcoholism. But you well said that. Yeah, all three of them. fear, comparing and despairing. 100%. My grandma told me that if you have a good portrait or picture of a person on the wall, then no matter where you are in the room, it will look like they're watching you. Yeah, I've heard that before. 73 people on here now. That's incredible. Welcome to all 73. If you want to support the channel, please do. There's a super chat button on there or buy me a coffee link. The more support I get, the more I can do, the more people we can help, and the bigger and faster we can grow. Quite a simple message, but it's very true. Yeah, the panic attacks are huge. I think when we talk about this, we remember things again. A lot of things I've forgotten about, you know. When I come in here and talk about it, I think, God, yeah, I did feel like when I was in a hotel balcony. I did feel as if I was going to fall off. I did feel like maybe someone's going to push me into the path of a train. Why would you do that? You know, when you get a surge forward when the underground trains come through the tunnel. And you think, God, I just feel so unwell here. And maybe you haven't had much to drink, but the mind is so complex, isn't it? Gordon, Steve, I used to drive around London for my work as an engineer. I used to get panic attacks so bad I had to call out an ambulance a few times after I pulled over as I thought I was having a heart attack. Yeah, I had them as well. I remember being in the pub once in the city of London called the Golden Fleece on Cheapside near the Bank of England. I was about 20 years old, a few of the lads in the West End. And it was when 3 o'clock closing was in, or 2 o'clock. I felt really ill. There was a downstairs bar there, and I sat on the ground, sat on the floor with my back against the bar. Anyway, they sent a crash team in, and I thought I was having a heart attack. Took me to Bart, I think it was, and I chatted with the doctor there, and I'll never forget what he said. So I'm in the A&E. He said, "What's happened to you?" I told him, this and I did feel very ill. And I told him what I did for a job, and I was in the Met, and I was quite a young sergeant, a lot of pressure. And he said, "No, nothing. I've got fucking pressure in this hospital." That's what he said. "I don't think I've got pressure." He just told me to get out and stop drinking or cut down. But yeah, panic attacks can be very, very debilitating. Steve, I've got loads of diazepam. I'm not always in your interest, to be 100% truthful. Oh no, I couldn't get it. Even if I told lies, John. It was impossible. I told a lot of poor weeks to try and get diazepam. No chance. I knew it was the only thing that could help me, and I couldn't get it. Catherine, Dylan, I heard that Librium is a strong drug to be on. Yeah, I had the gun. Yeah, heart attack. Yeah, I thought I was having a heart attack. I had a bit of a pain in my chest. It was nothing in the end. Just me being panicky. Samara, welcome to the channel. Feel free to comment. We're all friendly here. Well said. Sub. Then Catherine and I drank a bottle of vodka and took Librium and antidepressants all at once. Wow, that's not good, is it? Wishing well that. Horrendous, that. Horrendous. 72 people watching. That's good, good. So what I said was, as the autumn kicks in, darker nights, more people will need support. It's 100% true that. If you want to support the channel, you get some benefit from these lives, please do hit the super chat button or buy me a coffee link is on the top there pinned. The more people who get support from, then more we'll do. It's as simple as that. I think these 1 hour lives are good. Librium is a skeletal muscle relaxant. That's a volume in the UK. GPs will very rarely now prescribe it. I don't know what the problem is with the volume because I've never had it for 8 years, but it's done now. Adam Dudley, I have panic disorder, and every time I drink to even get tipsy, my anxiety is off the charts. Yeah, I used to get massive anxiety. It's incredibly debilitating. It really is. It stops you in your tracks. It did with me the first panic attack, and after I had the first panic attack, it's like anything you think it's going to happen again, you get worse. John, welcome to all the newbies. You're in the right place. Steve's 100% good guy. Thanks, John, for that endorsement. And so faces and everything in patterned curtains, wallpaper, clouds, anything that would set off full-blown panic. Also, auditory hallucinations, music, usually scary stuff. It is scary, man. It's awful, this illness. Nobody tells you about it. Nobody. Gordon, by the way, Steve, anti-abuse is the worst thing to give an alcoholic an active addiction. Right, I hear you, Gordon. I've never had it. I did have a friend who took it. Drank a bit and he had a stroke. So there you go. All these things have side effects, especially if you drink on them. Down being on a packed tube and stops in a tunnel, no, you can't get off. Yeah, that's exactly it. Same in a lift. I remember getting stuck in the lift once. There was about 10 of us policemen. Got stuck in the lift. We're going to do a big raid somewhere. Can you imagine that, getting stuck in the fucking lift? The panic. Wow. Johnny, thanks for your donations last night. Song players repeat in your head all night long. It does, doesn't it? Yeah, I remember that. You can't get to sleep. I never had a proper sleep when I was drinking, other than the fact I sort of semi-comatose and just drifted off. Dylan, that was just the week this weekend, Catherine. 2 days off alcohol now after a binge. Hope I survive college tomorrow. Horrible life. You can come off it, start to pull out. I mean, Dylan, you're quite young, aren't you? You can get off it. Michael Stockwell, do you still panic attacks now that you quit? No, not at all, Michael. No, we're very confident again. That's everything's fine. Acropolis now, is that a record collection? It's wallpaper. Acropolis. Kathy, yes, I had the same experience with the panic attacks, particularly in supermarkets and while driving, especially while driving on freeways. Yes, exactly that. The freeway, you see, the motorway we call it, you feel like you can't get off, don't you? It's horrendous. It's exactly the same as me, Kathy. Exactly the same. Thanks for your donation the other night. If anybody else wants to support the channel, please do. The more people that support, the more I can do. It's as simple as that. Snares Monkey, well done, Dylan. I currently drink every day. Monkey, you can get off it a bit, you know. If any of you want to go into the description of any of the videos, there's links to a lot of stuff on there. Ebook, one-to-one mentoring, WhatsApp group, there's lots of stuff. John and Bertie's being sensible. Upload that next change, Bertie. Yeah, well done, Bertie. He's got some good points. We've all got some good points. But we'd all be daft at times. I'm daft at times. But everyone here is pretty sensible. We're here to make a difference to ourselves and make a difference to other people. Simple as that. But you need to have heart checked, have an ECG before being prescribed antibiotics. Oh, I didn't know that, Bertie. It's interesting. That must be very strong then. Dylan, how much a day? I was more a binge drinker. Johnny, thanks very much for that donation. Really appreciate it. I hope you had a good. How was today anyway, Johnny? Did you manage to get through work okay without any major incidents? Thanks again, Johnny. If anyone else wants to join Johnny and put the super chat in, please do. And it makes a big difference to the channel. And like I said before, the more people support, the bigger we get, the stronger we are. That's how it works. I know it's horrendous going back to work on Monday. It's the worst day of the week. Sunday can be bad, but it's Mondays are just as bad. You go through Monday, you got to fight through Tuesday. Bertie, I've been on it. Okay, Bertie. Same with my friend was here, but he didn't I didn't treat it with respect, and he drank on top of it, I think. But he was quite unfit anyway. But he's still alive, just I think. He's younger than me. It's amazing how many people are younger than me who have massive problems with it and will go back very quickly. And they'll get tied up with it again. That's the problem. You get tied up with it. My dad used to have this expression: "Don't let it get a grip of you." You know, Johnny today was okay, just wet. Managed not to go to the pub. That's good. Good news, Johnny. Well done. No, you can't drink on a bit. Yeah, I think he tried to drink on it. It was the end of him, really, in some ways. Once you've had a stroke, you're never going to fully recover. And he was driving, fortunately, in a queue of traffic which wasn't moving particularly fast. It's still very frightening, isn't it, to have that experience? Not good at all. But to me, panic attacks is part of the anxiety, and that was my major problem. And I think it's hit us all. And I'm surprised that there's so many people. I always thought I was the only person who couldn't sit in the dentist chair, couldn't sit in the hairdresser's chair, or would panic on the underground, panic on the bus. But a lot of people had problems, didn't they? Thanks, John, for that coffee. Really appreciate that. Some amazing people in here, supporting the channel. Got some amazing people chatting. Thanks again, John. It's so appreciative. It helps the channel so much, Snares Monkey, around a bottle and a half of wine, half a bottle of vodka last night. Can't keep doing that. No, you can't. You've got to taper off. See if you can taper off. If you can't, you've got to try and get some help, Remember, it's the Boom Down Rats. Don't like Mondays. Yeah, you're still going, Bob Geldof, isn't he? Tell you why I don't like it. It was something to do with the murder, wasn't it? Yeah, Ricky Hatton. All right, people, listen, a few times he was always drinking, so he was. My daughter's partner's dad knows him quite well. He used to go to Tenerife a lot. But he was very fit, wasn't he, Hatton? But he's very like Paul Gascoigne in a way, mentally, because Paul Gascoigne didn't like being alone. I think Hatton was very similar. I don't think Mondays Yesterday's a great song. It was a good song. But he was, even sprained urine will affect you because deodorant contains all an aftershave. Well, it must be very, very sensitive then. All this when you quit the booze, you embrace every day instead of fearing it. That's a good way of putting it, yeah. You sort of want to get your time back, don't you? And you have the fear of missing out when you're drinking. But I've got the fear of missing out on them, so that's why I don't go to bed late. In fact, I sometimes just lie on top of the covers. But before I get actually in the bed, that's the day gone. But I've got so much energy now. I always had a lot of energy when I was drinking, but now it's like off the scale. Tom01, my mother died in 2021. She suffered panic attacks for years. It's horrible, isn't it, Tom? So sad to hear that. But thanks for sharing it. It's important. Bertie Bassett, I've got you. Well, if you're an anti-abuse, you can't really risk anything, can you? At all. It's not good. Well, it's obviously sensitive. It does help people, otherwise I wouldn't give it out. But for anybody who says or says at the alcohol level, alcoholic level, and things are getting better, it's nonsense. It's getting much worse. Simona, my wife used to give me anti-abuse in the morning. I changed the pills for paracetamol as it took exactly the same. 2 weeks before I went on a bender, she was going to see her mum in Devon for a week. Wow. It's strange, because when I was married, my wife got this job away, and I said, terribly working away. It was great. It was the best thing ever happened to me. I got heavily on the sauce when you've been sort of controlled. Lizzie Jones, do you recommend anti-abuse? I'm not sure anything about it. Bertie knows about the anti-abuse. I don't, but maybe Bertie knows that. For you, Leslie, Tom couldn't leave the house. Yeah, that was what I was like. Couldn't get out. I got a taxi driver now and again to push me over that. I could never leave the house sober. Jeez, I couldn't get out of bed, so I used to pour drink in and my partner actually laughed because I can drink lying down. I got used to because I just couldn't get out of bed without a drink. I thought I was going to fall over, and sometimes I did fall over. Steve, I read a decent quote the other day. A month can change your year. A year could change your life. 100%, yeah. Mitchell UK1 had full-blown panic attacks and thought I was going to die. Seriously, it was horrible. So dreadful, isn't it? That's how I used to feel. The panic attacks were unreal. I don't know how to describe them. Torture, frightening. Really bad, really bad. Gordon, it took me to lose everything, marriage, house, business, and nearly my life last year before quitting into rehab. So we're now great, good. I couldn't get into rehab. I don't know where you are, but you don't bother getting rehab. I couldn't afford it. Kevin Flanagan, are you Christian now? I'm not sure why. I'm not religious. I'm not really religious, to be fair. R.I.P. Mickey Hutton, I'm assuming he took his own life. There are rumours, yeah. I'm not quite sure. I haven't had much of a chance to look at it. I've been quite busy today. But I think so, yeah. Tom, you should look healthy now. You should be proud. Thanks, Tom. I'm here to help other people. If anyone wants to help the channel, then please drop a super chat in or buy me a coffee links at the top there. The more people get the support, the more we can do here. John Doe hung himself. Wow. The panic attacks I got when drinking alcohol were horrific. I was self-medicating to keep them at bay, only worse than later, a vicious cycle. Chadster, exactly the same as me. Catherine, I was in a pub when that's singing playing a man asked the barman to turn it off because he didn't want his kids to listen to the words. Right? Fair enough, yeah. It's a strange song in some ways. Mitchell UK Warren, my hangovers were terrible. I used to think I was going to die. It's absolutely horrendous, isn't it? Absolutely horrendous. Johnny's Charles Gordon being the gypsy catcher. Do you think there are times of the year, weather seasons, where the relapses might? Gypsy catcher, for me, winter time. Tom, thanks so much for that super chat. I really appreciate it. And it makes a massive difference to the channel. The more support we get, the more I can do. The more we can do as a group. And that's important. And thanks again, Tom. Really appreciate that. The meaning is you have X. But yeah, it works, but you can decide not to take it one day and then drink the next day. It kept me off the alcohol for 9 weeks, but then decided to stop taking it, and you know the rest back. Yeah, we go back on it. We've all gone back on it. Thanks again, Tom, for watching. There's a lot of new watches tonight, and I really appreciate you coming on here. Because do these most nights. I'm going to be away the weekend, but most nights will be on for an hour or so. And it's been very beneficial for a lot of people, so I've heard, and beneficial for me, for myself, because it gets the word out. And the more people that know about this channel, it's a serious channel, this, with a bit of a twist. And we are helping people to turn their lives around, which is fantastic, isn't it? To be able to do that is the best gift of all, isn't it? To give something away, give something back. Makes me quite emotional, that really, to think what we've done in a short time. Because it's only 16 months, since I put the first video on. And I didn't do these lives till really late on, last couple of months. I was going to be a bit nervous. But this has happened to everyone who supported me on here, has taken me through and made it much easier. Because I feel like we're all friends now. We know each other, And the new people join in, tell other people about it as well, Kevin, what I meant, I've experienced God's love after you get sober. Not particularly, Kevin, I'm not really religious, if that makes sense. But I feel better generally about life. John, I've never been at the point where I want to kill myself, though, and everyone is different. Of course, yeah. Of course you are, John. Chester, the hangovers changed from the typical headache to terror. Imagine if you could take a tablet that had the same effect as alcohol. It could be class A and legal. Of course it would be. Yeah. It's interesting, Gypsy Catch, what you say about the hangovers, because when you've been off it and you relapse onto it, we're 82 people now. That's the most we've ever had, which is incredible, isn't it? I don't know where they will come from. I'm just going to take a screenshot of that because it's just a massive amount of people at once. I said we'll get to 100, didn't I? I don't know if you remember, Samara. I said when we first started 2 months ago, I said we'll get to 100 by Christmas. We'll get to 100 before the end of September. Tom, I've seen alcohol destroy a man's life. It's not easy to quit. Of course it's not. I saw people die in the hospital I was in, younger than me. Not that your age has got anything to do with alcohol. Age has nothing to do with anything, as long as you keep yourself fit and healthy. But you can't drink for at least 7 to 10 days after taking abuse. It's designed to stay in the system just in case you miss a dose. You must have suffered. It's horrible, isn't it? All the suffering we've been through. 80 people is incredible. If you want to support the channel, you get something from the lives, and you benefit, which you will in time, will benefit. Please hit the super chat button or the buy me a coffee link at the top there. The more people support the channel, the more I can do with the channel. Kevin, thanks for the encouragement. You get that, Kevin. Chester Dotty Dolly, my friend, actually pulled the emergency cord due to a panic attack. I can imagine. Dotty, I had panic attack on non-stop train to Scotland, really wanting to pull the emergency cord just to get off. Yeah, what we're going to do when we get off? I used to do it in the underground, I used to get on and off, on and off, on and off. What the fuck? Tom 1, have a good life, Prof. Sub. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. Dr. Decorator, good luck in your journey. Hello, Dr. Decorator. I think you're new as well. Anybody who's new here, keep coming on because it's good on here. There's a lot of information there, and it's a bit of a laugh sometimes. Well, it can be a laugh anytime. Thanks to everybody for joining the chat. Really appreciate that. And thanks to everybody for supporting. If you want to support, you know how to do it. The coffee links there, super chat, whatever. The doctors are so far behind. Diazepam should be available for alcoholics, just a 7-day supply. I totally agree. I think there's someone mentioned just to control supply, like to give methadone to heroin addicts, something. Anything like that would be good. Mitchell UK one. Anyone else used to say, "I'm feeling good today. I deserve a drink." Oh yeah, of course. I'm feeling good. I need a drink. Let's have a drink. We drink because we're happy, we're sad, we're stressed, we're not stressed. I mean, do you not remember somebody said once, I drink only on days with a T in it. So you think, well, Tuesday is Thursday. It's today and tomorrow. That's every day, isn't it? Anthony Parker, goddamn Junction pubs open till 12 a.m. God help me. I'm sat here with a bloody Perrier. Perrier is good for you. Remember Perrier water? Geez, all years ago. Kyle Burton, what's the science behind alcohol causing panic attacks? Somebody else might answer that one. I'm not sure about the scientific side of it. It's something to do with receptors and anxiety, I think, Kyle, but it's worth looking into. Maybe I'll do a video on that. The science behind alcohol causing panic attacks. But yeah, I haven't taken antabuse. No, I've only ever had diazepam. But that'd be a good subject. What's the science behind alcohol causing panic attacks? Maybe the Samara might know about that. Dottie, I had panic attacks before I was a drinker. Really? Kevin, I have the addiction too. You helped me stay sober. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. Johnny, I've been a sub from day one. And everyone, please spread this channel. By far the best. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate that. Poo-poo, I really thought I was having a heart attack when I stopped drinking and I was on the bus. I was coming from a dentist. Yeah, it's mind-blowing what happens to us. Literally mind-blowing, isn't it? Fit for task Monday mornings. Sales of caffeine stimulant drinks and paracetamol are high. I've noticed on a petrol station. Definitely. It's the Monday morning is the highest rate of heart attacks recorded on the and by the London Ambulance Service. It was when I was in the Met. It's incredible. It's very much a depressant, yeah. Gypsy catcher, alcohol is a depressant, so your brain compensates by producing stimulants. When the alcohol wears off, the stimulants remain. Right, I didn't know that. So there you go. That's a good explanation, Gypsy catcher. Alcohol is a depressant, so your brain compensates by producing stimulants. When the alcohol wears off, the stimulants remain causing the anxiety. Even ambulance came. I did have panic attacks before I started drinking, Catherine. Right, I didn't, to be fair. I used to get a bit nervous, but not full on. Chester 123, alcohol floods the GABA receptor. The sudden stop creates seizures and panic. I bit a hole through the side of the gulf of my mouth during a seizure. I had a number of seizures when I stopped like that. I had some seizures in hospital as well. Even when I was in hospital, I was in intensive care after I had a seizure in hospital. Can you pray I find a gentleman being alone? I backslide. Pray I find a gentleman. Girlfriend, sorry. Being alone. Being alone is not good. But I found that when I was alone between 2006 and 2014, I needed that time to find myself a bit and to get sober. So it works in both ways, really. But once you're sober, it's nice to have a partner. If you find a good one. But they're hard to come by. I found one after years of searching, man. The best. But yeah, being lonely doesn't help. I also saw panic attacks before alcohol, right? So maybe there's a link there to people having panic attacks as children and adolescents. Dan, I can see why people end it when they are in a place where there's no way out. But there is, and you have to want it. Yeah, I didn't think it was a word for me. I wasn't getting any better even with hospital intervention. But I did. Mitchell UK. Alcohol affects brain chemistry temporarily, increasing GABA, a calming neurotransmitter. It causes initial relaxation as alcohol wears off. GABA levels drop sharply, creating a rebound. Wow. It's a little very scientific, this, right? We're just going to have to take a photo of it because we've got 90 people now. It's an incredible amount of people. There's 90 people at once. If anyone wants to support, then please drop the super chats, hit the super chats button, or buy me a coffee link at the top here. So I want to get the 100 if we can, but that's obviously where it's getting out, isn't it? Which is brilliant. Well done, everybody. Mitchell UK1, Steve, did you ever suffer with your heart through drink? I didn't actually know. No, I've been pretty fit, really. It's just the liver which gave way for a while, which is okay now. Well, the liver function's good. Me too. And turns out my childhood panic attacks was asthma, right? That's interesting, asthma, because it does obviously breathing, isn't it? You're going to panic, you can't get breath, right? Could be linked. Alex James, withdrawal from GABAergic drugs or nasty, the worst kind of drug withdrawal you can experience. I bet it's horrendous what goes on, isn't it? I've got no knowledge of any of these things. Mine was purely drinking anxiety, but there's a lot of medications out there people have been on, isn't it? Clem, what did the seizures feel like, and did they announce themselves with prior symptoms? What is the sequence of seizures? A seizure started to, sweat, started to slur my speech, shakes a bit, and then legs just give way, basically. And a couple of times I blacked out as well, didn't know what happened. Dolly, yes, me, Mitchell, my heart rate was 122 once. Wow. I agree. Fix yourself first. Yeah, 100%, Johnny. Gypsy Catcher, a good story to put you off drinking permanently is Duff McCagan Bassett from Guns N' Roses. He almost died from pancreas almost exploding. Yeah, pancreatitis is not something we're warned about either. It's very common and it causes a lot of issues. But that's mostly trauma related. That's interesting. So we've got nearly 100 people watching. Well, we did at one point. 86 now. It's incredible, isn't it? If you'd like to support the channel, please do. Hit the super chat button or buy me coffee links at the top, because it's not monetized this live, and it keeps it flowing really well, I think. Not by having adverts on it, would just slow it down, wouldn't it? So it's quite a dynamic thing, this. I don't know anybody else is doing it. And I think it's a wonderful way to communicate. And there is a WhatsApp group as well. It's slow to start, but we'll get there. If anyone wants to have a look at that, just text me. Because it will get busier. And I think it will help a lot of people. To me, as I've said a million times, or just shy of a million times, relapse is the thing to watch out for. That's a risk. That's a real risk. Bertie, I got dragged up. Sorry to hear about Bertie, but we've all had issues. And you sound like a good bloke, so keep positive, yeah? Bertie, keep positive. Charge 1 to 3, coming out of a seizure, it felt like electric surging through your body, your heart thumping, panic. You're going to die. It's horrendous, isn't it? Tonic-clonic seizures is what I used to have. I think Samara said they used to be called grand mal. Everyone click the like button if you haven't already. It makes a massive difference. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. During the trial war, Dotty, 122, I get to 40 beats per minute, but always being fit, but liver damage. Okay, Johnny, it's a bit like me. Everything else is all right. But they've got hammering, I suppose. Gordon, GSC, now in my early 50s, after 15 years of half a bottle of vodka a day. I had a first seizure 3 years ago. I've tried to stop fighting and stuff. Luckily, I was in A&E. Well, but yeah, you were lucky then. So you don't do adverts, Steve. This is the best way. That's fine, Steve. That's why I said, there's not adverts in here. So if you want to support and keep it going, then just take the super chat or the odd coffee. Goes down well, doesn't it? Andrew, horrible submarine. It's so frightening. It's a horrible, horrible illness, isn't it? It's supposed to be a pleasurable experience. Every occasion, people are drinking. Funerals. If you go to an alcoholic's funeral, people will be drinking. Crackers. I went to a funeral for 4 years ago of a guy who was a barrister. Had been a barrister. Died 52. Big fella. Used to drink like a fish. Billy, I used to in my day. He used to keep falling over and eventually fractured his skull. There's more alcohol at that funeral than the busy Wetherspoons in London, I think. Thanks, Steve. No evidence on this, no. Dotty, sorry. 22 beats a minute. Breathing was normal. Could talk fine, but heart was racing. Baking butties for hangovers. Yeah, remember the day, all day breakfast. Daniel Hancock, I think I was having a panic attack last week, having some beats with my brother. I didn't say out with him, but I thought I was having a heart attack. Yeah, it's horrendous, isn't it? The panic attacks can be very, very bad. John Doe, Eleven and Steve, it's because you're honest and genuine. Thanks, John. It has made a massive difference to me. This will increase as time goes on, as in the winter. I need somebody else sitting next to me to read the comments out. I don't know, my partner's too keen on that, but we'll get somebody. Mark Bloom, anxiety is one of the reasons I started drinking, then drinking eventually made it worse. That's the problem, that's the cycle, isn't it? Alcohol, anxiety, alcohol, and it just goes on and on, gets worse and worse over time. That's not good. Catherine, I think we have to stop blaming our bad childhood for drinking. At some point, no one's life is easy one way or another. I agree. You hear very successful people. We've all had trauma. Nobody goes through life without any problems. It's impossible. And in somebody's got to have the highest of the lows. I'm not saying everyone has an easy stretch. Some people have easier lives than others, but we've got to make it easier by not drinking, haven't we? Mark Bloom, I think that's the reason we all started drinking heavily. I know I did. It made me feel the person I wanted to be. Yeah, I agree. It makes you feel. But only if the first drink at 14, this was my way out of being a youngster, as it were. And I grew up very quickly. Breathless after binge. Yeah, so the panic attack starts very quickly after binging. Lots of close people have died since my childhood. It's sad to hear that, Richard. It was true. During the trial, Steve, you won't be able to keep up soon. 300 to 400. I hope so. Well, I'll just have to get an assistant, get an AI person, a robot, just stand there. You know what I mean? Or maybe some volunteers. Mr. Shergill, what's the most drinks you have had one day? Probably about 30 pints in a day. I mean, that's like a long period of time. But I could easily do 20, 25 on a weekend or a day off. Easy. Not a problem. And it's not something to boast about. I just had a very high tolerance to it. And that's just the way it was. I used to drink a lot of lager or beers. I never went into spirits, thankfully. But it was, not a good place to be. The money I went through was horrific. Hiding credit card statements, hiding bank statements, juggling money around. It was madness. Which just delighted to be with those who are still here. Yeah, we're all very exclusive minority here, the ones that have survived. This can get to the point where you enjoy your sobriety more than you do alcohol, and you're laughing because you have to replace the alcohol with something which is more important to you than alcohol, if that makes sense. I keep banging about the amount of time you get spare. You'll have a lot of spare time when you're not drinking. All of that time you spent, if you added up the hours in a month you'd spend recovering, or on holiday. You go on holiday, some people go on holiday, don't they? And they'll spend all day. My parents used to know a couple who went to Spain back in the early days, in the 50s and things, before I was born. And they used to fly over there and come back whiter than when they went. They used to sit up all night in the late night bars in Spain and just sleep all day. They never came back with a tan. So when Steve didn't bother with drinking glasses, they just put the bar on the table. More or less, it did, yeah. I had a friend, called Brian Green. He used to ring up the pub manager that he knew, and he'd say, "Can you get 4 or 8 pints of Ingerbrow lager at the Red Lion pub in Kingly Street in London?" This is at 10 o'clock. We didn't finish till half 10. Put them behind the bar for us, because me and Steve were whatever it was. And we had about 45 minutes to drink them before the last tube out to Epping at the time. And I said, "Why do you always order these drinks before? 45, half an hour before?" He said, "So we can drink them really quickly because the gas dissipated from the lager. It was nearly flat. So we just drink that." It was madness when I think back. Take the gas out and you can drink more. It's absolutely crackers. I spent my money on rent arrears and council tax arrears. Only £100 left to pay. Feel chuffed about it. Well done, Dotty. So you can get rid of all the debt. No more overdrafts. Mitchell, UK. Well, I remember the Red Line memory lane. It's still there. It doesn't have such a warm feeling now that we're not in there, but it's still there. There's only one Red Line at the corner of Kingley Court. It's directly behind Hamley's toy shop delivery entrance at the back. I mean, I spent most of my life in there. Really. I probably spent more hours in there than I did at work. But I added it all up. It was a crack at the Red Line. Fair play to him. Thanks, Walnut. There's a lot of new people here. If I just ask you, the new people, where did you hear about this? If you don't mind me asking, because it's good that we've got more people in suddenly, or is it just because of the natural flow of information? I don't think you've been on here before, Walnut, have you? Or Mitchell? So I'm thinking of St James near Piccadilly. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Algorithm. Oh, see, what does it? What does the algorithm throw up in Walnut? I don't know much about these algorithms. I'm talking for England, but I don't know about what algorithm. So just does that lead you to the live? If that makes sense. I'm really annoyed that the people that still think heavy drinking is cool. Well, it was a habit, wasn't it? To me, it was a habit. And it was sort of expected, really, in a way. Mr. UK, I found you through searching about giving drinking. Okay, thanks, Mitchell. Appreciate that. I just wondered because there's a lot of new people on. Johnny, 24 hours in a day, 8 hours work, 8 hours sleep. You have left. Do the right thing if we can. 100%. Walnut with legs. I was looking for how to open a bottle of beer with a shoe and then the streamer out. That's good. That I like that. It means it's quite diverse. How to bottle of beer with a shoe. I think you maybe. I hope that's true. I would like to think it is true. Thanks, Michelle, on your comment there, Chester. In my 20s, I messed about with cocaine that enabled me to drink for 3 days and nights. No sleep, no food, then come downs from that was so distracting. The come downs. Nothing worse, is there? Red line up in the Chuvits. Is that? I don't know about that. Richard Paul KM. I think Paul's new as well. Paul KM. Can relate to a lot of this and what people are commenting. Been struggling with alcohol addiction for the last 4 years, and the pain has become excruciating. I went to my first day meeting today. What did you think of that, Paul? If you want some help, Paul, text me on this number, or have a look at the links in the description of all the videos. There's a link there for one-to-one mentoring. Paul, this is the number here. If you're outside the UK, it's +44. Obviously, you know that. My 8 hours sleep, not in years. That's the thing. We never sleep properly. Won't you put your foot in? I can't believe that. I was looking for how to open a bottle of beer with a shoe, and then the streamer out. It's amazing, isn't it? That's really good. That just 1, 2, 3. Alcohol advertising should be banned. I agree with that, especially for youngsters, because there is talk of this. Remember the alcohol pops? There's been a bit of a resurgence. It's just attractively packaged poison, isn't it? Really, and it's the only thing we actually pay for and rush to pay for that's going to harm us. But because of the addiction, it's an addiction. So I remember one key then going over to hombres after for cheap drinks with phone. That was me. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, hell of a lot of times. Jason, but yeah, one key is incredible. Samantha, drinking amphetamines, you don't seem to get pissed. I think it's pretty so high from amphetamines, aren't you? Samantha, Paul, I hope you get the help you need, and well done for taking the first step. Thanks, Samantha. Yeah, well done, Paul. Just said Samantha, there's a lot of new people come on tonight I've never seen before, and they're getting the stream from different resources, which is good. So for 2 months we've been doing this, and as I said, we've got over 90 people at one point tonight. I took a screenshot just for evidence. Mark McAuliffe, I would get a ringing in my ears. I put it down to blood pressure. It was out a lot. It was happening more. It's horrendous, Mark, isn't it? It's just another complication of it. Another complication. Another problem to add on to all the other problems alcohol brings along, Johnny, awful come down at 3 days. It does, as you get older, it takes you 3 days to get over it. What you used to be able to get over in a day, it took a lot longer. If you'd like to support the channel, please do. There's a super chat button in there, or the buy me a coffee links at the top, because it's not monetized yet. And the more people that support the channel, then the more I can do with the channel. And I hope that makes sense. Did you ever drink in the Jon Snow? Lots of times. Dan. I drank in all of the pubs in Soho for many years. The Blue Post as well. And all of the ones down the bottom. I can't remember the names. Shakespeare's Head. The Duke of Argyll on Oxford Circus. All of them were my lot. I knew all the stuff, everything. What we all did. As a group of policemen, we used to go out as a gang, really. Maybe 30, 40 people on a shift. At least 15, 20 would go for a drink. There's, a solid group of people. Like this, a bit like this. You know, Samantha will be there, and Dan, and Dottie, and Chadster will be there, and Samar, and how are you getting on? Put money in a whip, and I would get a great big round. The managers at the pub used to love when we came in, 20 or 30 people, especially on a Thursday when I had a weekend off, to take thousands of us over time. Dottie Dolly, my son, has MS. Oh, sorry to hear that. He had drunk 12% cider. He could use legs next day at work. He thought it was 20. I was disgusting. Yeah, it's not good, the alcohol, is it? Not good at all. There's so many problems with it. Just I remember budgeting my money, thinking half a tin of beans a day would be okay, so I could spend £20 on a bottle of vodka. Yeah, I've done that as well. I didn't drink vodka, but the same sort of principle. Absolutely crazy. When we used to drink in there with Ray Winston. Really? Fantastic actor. Gordon, you just mentioned the Blue Posts. Yeah, Blue Posts, yeah. Don't you shouldn't feel this because he was ill. Good night, all. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for being on again. It's been a very lively night. I'm going to wind up shortly. I think an hour or so is just about enough. Maybe do it tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll keep you posted, obviously. Leslie, good night, all. It's an hour later here, and I kept nodding off. Thanks to you, great chat. Gordon, I probably saw you in the daytimes. Did the TVs and music system service. Oh, right. There you go. Next month, joining the travel. It's getting here, getting there, Steve. We're getting there. Every little helps. Good night, Steve. Using alcohol to meet deadlines. It's crackers, isn't it? Okay, folks. We'll leave it tonight. I think we've done it over an hour there. It's been very, very fast moving. We've got the most people watching ever, which is magnificent. I did say 100 by end of September, so crack on with that. Anybody wants to support, you know what to do. The coffee link's open all the time on the main channel, or drop a super chat or whatever you want to do. It's nice to get some support. As I said 1,000 times, the more people support, the more we'll do on here, and that's the way it'll work from here. And I think everyone gets something out of it, which is the bonus, isn't it? More people will help, the better. The more lives will help, the better. And any questions you've got, drop me a line. You know, get in touch with me, and look at the WhatsApp group as well. If you want to have a look at that, because that could be a 24-hour thing as well. If you need help one-to-one, all the links are on there. And we'll see you very soon. Good night all. Take it easy.